And the other thing is that I've always known that if I'm gonna ever do anything real horrible or shady in my life, it's gonna be on Halloween, because you can just walk down the street dragging a victim, dead person by their hair down the street, and people are just like, "Holy fuck, that's good."
Yeah, if only OJ had been patient.
I like it.
Oh, the fucking camera's
Yeah, there's a camera,
Good
Andy.
job, Andy.
Remember, this is a
Good
video
looking out.
podcast.
Yeah. Well, I was looking over there because the
As is
computer's set
traditional with this podcast, we should start with you adjusting your headphone and
I know.
microphone settings.
there. I don't have my headphones.
I should just pot down his mic so it's just him talking with no volume.
I told Andy before, this is monumental. This is not only the first time we've all podcasted in the same room, but it's the first time that Andy and I get to smoke weed together, because the last time we were on stage in Austin, so we couldn't smoke weed.
You can't smoke weed in Austin?
Well,
I mean, you smoked
no.
weed in Austin.
Well, yeah, not on stage.
Okay.
And not legally in Austin. No, it's...
It's also why I got absolutely no
dumpsters.
help setting up the Austin show.
Yeah, we couldn't.
Well, that
we
is
could,
true.
We had,
Everybody else who was on the podcast was outside preparing for the podcast.
we can't multitask like you.
I wish I could say that wasn't absolutely true.
God damn it.
Erickson,
Yeah.
but it is. We couldn't have helped you with shit.
No, having you
We're dumber than you at that stuff.
having you guys far away was the best help you could give.
And
Yeah.
that's what we were doing.
Yeah, that's what we were talking
We
about.
talked about
out there.
that while we were smoking, yeah.
Uh-huh. Yep.
They were
So-
justifying their absence.
He doesn't want us
absolutely.
there.
So hi everybody. It's Issues with Andy, a special edition. We're not in 4 different places. We're all together, and we have a live studio audience. And as everyone does it, we put the audience behind us. So say hello, audience. All right, that's enough. Be quiet.
And
Did I hear Inman back there?
Shit, I didn't know all these people were staying.
We just got done watching a very exciting World Series baseball game that everyone was very excited about.
Yep.
You used excited twice. Good job.
I was really trying to drive home the point of how excited we were.
Speaking of excited, these guys have been setting up the Halloween haunt.
the Butcher of Black Knob.
Butcher Black Knob
returns.
downstairs. And I just wanted to let you know, it's a little bit of early feedback. I went over to take a piss earlier.
Looking over the fence into the yard
and looked
where...
over the fence, and the fake me
Yeah.
scared the shit out of me. And I knew it was there.
Yeah.
But,
Big guy, right?
Oh, fuck
Yeah.
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 He's be a little fatter, but maybe I should just lose weight for next Halloween.
I haven't added the pillow to the belly.
Just one?
Well, we needed another one, so we got to go to Walmart tomorrow.
Yeah, you have company over. The pillows.
All the pillows are being
all the
used.
pillows are taken.
Is that a special made head, or is that just one that came with that body?
Ghost Ride has about 300 heads that you can choose from.
Uh-huh.
And that one I just needed something big and dopey like Chad here.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, there's a few to choose from. but-
You probably don't know the American Girl dolls, but it was like little girls would dress like their doll and then go to the store dress like them. That's like Chad. Chad's just
American Boy?
Yeah. American Horror Boy.
Butcher boy.
Andy asked me when I got here earlier, he goes, have you been preparing for Halloween? I said, I just have to be covered in blood and fucking scream at people.
Yeah.
I said, I prepare for this 364 days a year before Halloween.
It's like going to Walmart on a Friday, but
Yeah.
with no blood.
Oh, it's a fucking good. Well, I don't get to do that.
Yeah.
I get on my motorcycle, sometimes I can scream as loud as I can, and you can get away with it on that.
Yeah.
As long as you're not passing
Yeah.
Walmart. But.
It's the only day of the year that being covered in blood and screaming at people is acceptable.
And the other thing is that I've always known that if I'm gonna ever do anything real horrible or shady in my life, it's gonna be on Halloween because you can just walk down the street dragging a victim, dead person by their hair down the street, and people are just like, "Holy fuck, that's good."
Yeah, if only OJ had been patient. Oh, this bitch has got it coming, but I'm gonna wait till Halloween.
Think it through, OJ.
Oh, look at OJ. He's dressed like a sniper.
Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about. OJ is free and was never found guilty of any crime.
I know he's the Twitter friend.
The real OJ.
He follows me on Twitter, so I have to be nice.
What?
He doesn't. I wish he did, though.
I follow him. I like a train wreck as much as the next guy.
Yeah, I wish Jeffrey Dahmer was on Twitter. I'd follow him. Hey man, we're doing a turkey.
I got some bad news to break to you about Jeffrey Dahmer, dude. I'm glad you're already sitting down, but neither he nor Timothy McVeigh is ever going to follow you on Twitter.
I actually went to where Jeffrey Dahmer lived in Milwaukee, and there were these kids. It was like on Monday or Tuesday, and they go, "You can't go in there." Because this apartment's been razzed or whatever, but there's still markings. And you go in there, and these kids go, "You can't go in there." And go, "What are you like, cops or whatever?" and then they go, "No, we're just fucking with you." And I was like, "This is a school day, right?" And then they go, and they go, "You know who lived there?" I go, "Yeah, we know who." He goes, "You know how he died? He got a stick shoved up his asshole." Like kids, It's like it's good to know that there's local kids that get involved with things in the community and can direct.
They're learning history.
Yeah. Yeah, that's more than I knew about my neighbors.
Read some books.
Dude, in Coquille, Oregon, your neighbors were talking about your family. It wasn't the other way around. You didn't need to learn anything about your neighbors.
We were middle of the heap. There were worse families. They told you about the Hetricks. The Hetricks had a haunted house.
The Merrick brothers? We learned
the Merrick brothers. There was a lot of retardation in the water. But the Hetricks were like really athletic, and then there was one of them that was really athletic but retarded in a biter. And they had a haunted house, but I don't know it was really a haunt and so much as it was just a shakedown place. And my brother said he got bit, and we definitely all had our bags of candy stolen, and one of the guys got punched in the face. So it was a really good haunted house when it comes right down to it. I was terrified, crawling out on my belly. I got rid of my bag of shit. It's just fucking candy. This is life and death, man. So I don't know how many kids they ran that haunted house for, but I'll never forget it. Thank you if you guys are not incarcerated, or if you are incarcerated listening to this and watching it in your prison cell.
I don't think we're broadcast in prison cells.
Well, yeah, I don't know how it works.
Hey, they get YouTube.
Yeah.
Shout out to our bartender. This is nice. It's the first time this has ever happened on this show. Sometimes my bartender wanders around behind the shot, but never actually makes me a drink. So this is pretty good.
It is usually kind of early. I'm surprised she's up when you.
That is true.
Because we broadcast at noon on Wednesdays. So
yeah, yeah. And she taught me how to make a Bloody Mary. So
this is like our Tuesday.
Sort
is
of.
This our Tuesday.
Sort of.
What are we doing?
it's our Friday.
It's our
Andy.
Friday. Oh, okay. Oh, we're not. All right. Yeah. I was home for a couple days.
Yeah.
I got a new car. Back on the road.
Last time we checked in with you, you were barefoot in Santa Rosa, California, coming down off of LSD. Now, see, here's the thing, too, is that this is what a hero Andy Andrus is. I don't know if you know the story of the Major League pitcher Doc Ellis, right? Oh, famously pitched a no-hitter while on LSD. But what they don't tell you about that story is that Doc Ellis was not at the peak of his LSD trip. He took LSD the day before because he thought he was going to not pitch the next day. So he showed up the next day still under the effects of the LSD, and then they found out he had to pitch, so he pitched. So that's very much a story of you're not really tripping anymore, dude. That was the day before.
That's very misleading.
It is.
That's
so
the truth.
What I want to say is that Andy Andrist took his 2 hits of LSD closer to broadcast time than Doc Ellis did to his no-hitter. So I feel like that was pretty impressive. That you pulled through on the sidewalk in Santa Rosa, California.
I feel like broadcasting from the sidewalk was also a no-no.
Well,
it's also something Andy didn't plan.
Yeah.
Well, the cool part was, and I guess if I was tripping during the podcast, I guess you could throw it in that I rented a car, a nice shiny red Jeep, and tripped all the way through wine country that was burning as I was going through it. And it was confirmed by the news reports that I saw later.
Was it a consideration of yours that maybe you were hallucinating fire?
My GPS didn't say nothing about no fire. I thought it was weird everywhere I stopped there were fire crews around. But you just smoke your weed and you go on, you know?
Just tossing your fucking blunts out the window when you're done?
Well, I was trying to figure out how to get the top off that Jeep.
Things start anyway.
Weird, right?
Yeah, the fire was going. I mean, it was simultaneous to my drive through.
Andy said that so many times since I've seen him today that it sounds like he's trying to establish an alibi.
Yeah.
It was already there. Hey, how you doing? Good. I was driving through Sonoma. It was already on fire.
Already
And I got it. I'm
burning.
like, who says that? I just barely fucking saw you. You know?
Yeah, like I got through there in the nick of time.
Parallel thoughts.
So I made it home. There's always some collateral damage, but yeah.
You were home for a couple days?
Yeah, and I got a new used car, and yeah, I was probably tripping on because it was a pretty interesting morning, and I was having a good time at just getting a donut was fun. And that's just necessity usually. It's not like, oh, fuck, yeah, this is great and this view's wonderful. All right. So, yeah. But, yeah, it was a good trip home.
But hold on a second.
I
listened to the podcast later because I was curious. You just walked around the entire night?
No, I went from the mall. I parked because I didn't know what to do.
You couldn't make the concert.
Yes, and then I didn't really. I was hanging out by this area and just trying to get things together. And there was it's a Hell's Angels clubhouse right there. So I was like, no, I'm gonna. And then I just went down to a beer place. Bar near me, and it was downtown in the square area, and then I was like, I remembered I had that LSD in the car.
And you are barefoot with a unicorn blanket?
No, eventually that was later, but I was like, I got these pants in the mall. I went into the mall, and then I had that situation with the massage chair and bolted the mall, and then I couldn't find my car for a long time. When I found it, it wasn't my car anyway. It was a rental from the car guy, in hopes that I would, be dealing business. Anyway, it was my response. Anyway, got ticketed a bunch. So, and I was tripping, and I just got chased out of the mall, and it was like I couldn't even remember what car I was in, and I was just looking in cars for a lot of stuff, and I was like, oh, that's my stuff.
Wait, so your plan on finding your car in the mall parking lot is whichever one has the most tickets on it is probably mine.
No, it wasn't.
No, the one that has the most stuff that looks like it belongs to him.
It was street.
When he realizes he's robbing his own stuff. Oh no! Wait, this one's mine.
Oh my God! My name's on this prescription bottle.
So I eventually found the car, and I had these pants, and I put the pants on and had my shoes off, and then I wrapped up in that unicorn blanket, and I decided I better move the car or I was going to get more tickets, and then I moved it into another area that I had trouble locating it again. But that's when I went, and I had shoes on, and I walked down to this. I saw this fish earlier, and I was like, fuck yeah, I'm going to go find that fish. And there it was. It was like right across, and it was like shiny and calling out to me. So I went down there and then danced around there for about 3 or 4 hours by that area. And then that's when I lost my shoes and walked around up with the other homeless. There were some down by the fish, but they weren't nearly as reverent of the fish.
Where did you spend the night?
I was just on foot.
Earth, Earth.
So you did walk around all night.
Yeah. Well, I went snuck into the movie, so I sat down for a while and saw.
All of this rehash of the story started with no. Here's what happened.
I just
Only
want to know where
end
he
in
slept.
yes. What you said was absolutely true. Not no, but yes.
I couldn't remember where he said he had spent the night, and then but I do remember barefoot and a unicorn blanket.
Well, that part of that too was because again I forgot where the car was, and it was an unfamiliar vehicle. So I think I wanted to go sleep in the car at some point, but I couldn't figure out where it was, and then the fish had a cool little area going, and I could walk around in a loop. So I just did the loop a lot until it got. Then I got my senses of where the car was.
I'm glad you made it home.
Yeah, me too.
It was a long trip, dude. You were on the road for like a month and a half.
And only to be right back here, where I just left a bit ago.
Yeah.
With high hopes of going to a concert and doing drugs in a proper location.
Mm-hmm.
Is that where you're headed? To another concert?
No. I don't know. I'm not headed anywhere. I think I'm here.
I'm pretty sure you're here.
Yeah. This is where I'm at.
You have a job for Halloween tomorrow?
I'm
Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah.
You mean yesterday?
Yesterday. You have a job for Halloween yesterday?
Here's the thing. I was thinking of this. I think I can. I'll do a walkthrough, right? Can we
What do
do
you
a
mean?
walkthrough?
Yeah.
Film it
Yeah, absolutely.
and put it out on the channel?
Hennigan will probably do that with his camera.
Oh.
It takes video.
Where does he put it out? Does he put it out on?
No, he might do it for. Well, you'd have to ask him. I don't want
Might give
to. I don't
it
want
to
to
you.
say anything for Hennigan. But yeah, you could just do it with your phone.
Maybe we'll live stream it.
Wow, all these threats.
It's a very impressive haunted house.
See, this is the thing with Andy. Last year when he was here, I don't know. I don't ask. I try to run a drug-free environment.
Yeah.
Shit, Andy was here last year.
Yeah,
me
Andy was
too.
here, and I had built this new cool effect that looked like the trellis. We worked at it today, and it you actually can like Frighteners where the wall moves out towards you. You can pull the pieces apart because it's made out of elastic, right? I put Andy in there. And I didn't. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe it's my fault. I didn't give you enough instruction, or whatever you were on gave you the delay that like people would walk by and then they'd walk away and then he'd go out, or you had a baby arm or something. You just like stuck an arm out through the thing and it wasn't.
Missed it by that much.
Well, it's like in a horror movie that hand that reaches out they don't see. You just hear the music.
Like that classic, the classic clip from the opening of Scooby-Doo where the hand comes out and almost gets Daphne, but she walks away.
Yeah.
During the
Foil.
montage.
Yeah,
I'm a carpetbagger from out of town.
The problem is there's no one behind them to see that.
You're great on the replay that doesn't exist.
And then I got Jet Lacey wanted me to dress up like.
Yeah, there was a whole thing going on after when you left, and that's when I got into the thing. And I've been telling Erickson the whole time, it's like, yeah, I don't really expect anyone to sit in their location very long, except for Chad, and then Gil. He's always good, and Mike, he's in the ghillie suit. But yeah, Andy, I didn't really have expectations, but I thought he'd at least last 5 minutes.
Well, I got drawn into dressing like Tony Clifton to show up for somebody else's thing.
Another job offer during your shift.
Wait,
Hey,
you
man,
got a better
I
deal
a better offer.
from a different haunt?
You did. He went off site. There was a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you can't work one haunt if you're working the other haunt
Yeah.
in the same neighborhood.
Cross the street, bro.
Shaylee, no, this is where it comes down to what you said. This actually is your fault. You should have your actors sign exclusive contracts.
A non-compete clause.
Non-compete.
I might wander off and be the butcher of Van Dyke.
They got Mr. Pibb over there.
I would do it for Mr. Pibb. That's a delicious soda.
More of a Dr. Thunder guy myself, but I grew up in poverty.
Well, Dr. Skipper to some people is. I think that's the Walmart version.
Really?
Yeah,
Dr.
I question his medical degree, Dr. Skipper. What the fuck is that? You know? Hey, James Inman's here.
Hey.
No, he's
Don't
not.
spread lies.
No,
Don't spread lies.
We were putting our wish list together, and
we tried to. This was a big show. We tried to get everybody we could here, all of our favorite people. We tried to get James Inman. We did everything we could.
We fired up the old unbookable signal, the old, it's on the roof of the Funhouse. Turns out we need one of those things, and then we got to hunt one down. It's a big orb. We got to find a lighthouse that's commissioned to even shine this unbookable light up there, but we did try.
We got the light, but it turns out it wasn't cloudy, so it didn't reflect off anything. It just went off into space.
Yeah, clear sky's a bitch to get Batman.
Turns out the unbookable signal is just a bunch of pot smoke coming from the roof of the Funhouse.
And then we tried the newest backup, which is cell phones, but we're all with T-Mobile, and that don't work.
You got to take it T-Mobile.
So we went back up and tried the bat signal again, and that didn't work neither. So if anyone feels slighted by this, get a better sight line on that signal, because we can't hit snail mail. That shit takes too long.
Well, that's traceable. James Inman isn't going to want to be traced by the NSA.
I've sent him so many care packages, but he's afraid to open them.
I'm afraid for whoever bought your car. You don't even know how many drugs are in there.
Imagine how busted that person's going to get when they get pulled over.
Well,
what are you talking about? I had a theory. That's why they gave him $2,500 for it. Fuck, man. $1,000 worth of drugs in this motherfucker.
All the shit that was wadded up and thrown into the back seat.
Hey, there's $100 bills back here. Call back.
Yeah, I know.
Is this another car in the back seat?
Yeah.
Andy's thinking more than laughing right now.
He's like, wait a minute.
I dumped everything out of there, and I got under the seats, and I did find a joint under there. I was like, oh, this is going to come in handy. And then I lost it. It's probably in that
fire.
I think in the
fish
rental
took
Probably in that fire.
I think it's at the base of that fire in Sonoma. Yeah, it's just like I was like, man, it's almost too windy to light this son of a bitch. You got a little.
Oh, it's full of carpet fibers.
Little fire on it, and then I got some sand blue in my face, and I'm like, whoa, fucking joint. Yeah,
Andy
high
with
winds.
his strike anywhere wooden matches trying to light his joints.
Geyserville, it says.
Oh, shit.
No, the fire crews were already there on my way
You
out.
keep saying that.
Yeah.
You keep saying it.
Establish a timeline. I've seen Dateline.
Yeah, they say that's why I wouldn't ever do arson. I talked about that previously. It's just there's a whole science behind it.
Yeah.
Against it. And they can tell right when it started. And a lot of so
Stop talking, Andy.
I know.
Now's when you cut it.
Well, here's the thing. There was that gender reveal thing that they set up in the desert over here, and they shot it at Tannerite and exploded it and ended up starting the sawmill fire, which was like, hundreds of thousands of acres. When we did Tannerite.
Wait. They're trying to reveal the gender of the baby?
Yeah, it would like blow up pink or blue when they blew up the Tannerite. They blew it up in like high grass.
That's the shit you guys blew
It
up.
was.
This is part of why I walked around with a gallon jug of water, dumping it around. There was people dumping ice chests all around, like wet the ground. English Jonathan posted on Twitter a thing, and he said something like, "There was you're supposed to do a half a pound at 100 yards away, or a pound and a half at 200 yards away." And he goes, "I think we did 2.5 pounds at 35 yards away."
Well, that's what you get for using an Englishman with American weights and measures. He probably wanted to have it be like 2 stone at 35 meters.
Hey, are you 65 or 67 hands?
Where they wanted to set it up was out further in the brush, where you should set it up, but it was in the brush. And I'm like, put it up here in the gravel. Fuck it. We don't have anybody valuable here.
Yeah, ceramic shrapnel's the least.
Andy went to look for the pig. He shot it with my 30-06 rifle. He fucking narrows it and shoots at Tannerite.
The pig was full of
Tannerite?
Tannerite?
Had it strapped around the front of
Suicide vest.
Suicide vest. Andy hits it, and it just explodes fantastically.
But Tannerite explodes because of the compression and then the force of the bullet.
There's
right?
a mixture of powder and then the heat and the
Yeah, I didn't get to see the shoot, but when I asked Joby about it, he gave me a look that is like how it must have been to wrangle live rounds around Andy.
Well,
he looked like he saw a ghost when I asked
Listen,
him.
none
Like,
of
how'd that
that
go?
story doesn't even compare to when we were here a year or two ago, Super Bowl party or something, when I think Hack Oddity was here, and everybody went out to the shooting range with Carrie Mitchell,
Yeah, I think it was 2 years ago.
and everybody got the speech. Don't point the gun at anything but the target area. And then as soon as she got the gun, she fired the gun, and then she was like, "Oh my God, that was great! Oh my God!"
Spinning
And
around.
everybody behind is like comically diving behind bunkers and things. Yeah.
I'm a little better than that.
Slightly.
We were driving through. Doug and I were driving through. Tracy, what was the name of the guy that was in Last Comic Standing? Dave
Mordall?
Mordall.
We go.
Oh yeah, that's
Doug
right.
and I go.
I was there with you when we did that.
The shooting?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
shit! No wonder. Okay.
Yeah, you got a ticket.
Okay.
Yeah, you got a ticket.
So yeah, I did get a ticket. We go to Dave Mordall's house, and he loves guns, and we went to go shoot guns, and because I'm not a comic, and he doesn't know me, he has me go adjust the target. You know what happened? And he fucking shot a shotgun.
Oh shit!
To the side, like down into the dirt.
To make you think?
I shit my fucking
make
pants.
you
Are you
think he was
kidding me?
shooting at you?
And so every time I hear a story of everyone, hey, let's go shoot guns, we'll film it and stuff like that, I'm like, I want no fucking part of that.
Yeah.
Because there's a bunch of people who think something's going to be funny, or one guy who thinks it's
Yeah.
going to be funny.
To be fair, whenever there was a lot of people there that had
seemed like it
shotguns
was funny.
before shooting guns,
Yeah.
and while they were shooting guns, I nudged Joby and I was like, "I'm gonna shoot the 357 off to the side, just a loud ass pistol." And I didn't do it.
It's
Only
very
'cause
funny,
Joby and
except
I
for one
shared the
person.
joke. Yeah.
There's one person who doesn't think it's funny.
I'm a diplomat.
I know.
Joby and I shared the joke, and that was good enough for me. Yeah, it was a fun day. And if you mentioned on the last podcast, Andy, and if maybe you don't remember, because I don't know how much stuff you remember that you say, but you said that you wanted to call your special the last shot.
Yeah, yeah.
And I love it on so many levels. And
Yeah,
I hope you fucking do
Yeah,
that.
that's. I think that's the most
it's
logical.
It's appropriate for a lot of reasons.
All right,
Who
go
makes
ahead
the-
and fire that up.
Who makes those decisions?
Me?
Oh, all right.
Probably me.
Better answer.
Probably me. Oh, you're not even hand it to Erickson?
No, I'm good.
Are you afraid you're gonna fail?
Yeah.
Are you? Did you guys know that happened
What happened?
on an earlier podcast we don't even know about?
Oh.
One of the early podcasts.
Yeah, it was like the fifth or sixth one.
Erickson tried
To smoke weed 3 different times.
He just missed,
No,
with his lighter. Missed the whole bowl. He failed smoking weed several times.
A lot
We
of
had
things.
deep
A lot of things went
We
wrong.
had a deep discussion about
There were a
it.
lot of things that went wrong.
He considered. He admitted to me that he considered editing
Editing it out. I was gonna edit it out because I look like such a pussy. And then I'm like, well, that's first of all way too much work. I'm just gonna take the fucking loss.
It's like Orrin Hatch.
But that was really the last straw of like, I guess I don't really smoke weed anymore.
How did
Because
you fail? I don't understand.
I don't know. I would light the bowl. I would take a hit, and then I exhale, and nothing comes out. And then like at the
Chad just showed me how you did it.
at the exact same moment on the podcast as Andy is in Eugene, Oregon, taking the most gigantic hit of weed you've ever seen, or Chad, and like all this smoke just fucking fills
like a vape competition.
all of the squares, not even his square, but all of our squares. Like, all right, I guess I don't smoke weed.
Well, it was a good run.
I had a good run.
More for
I
Carrie
feel
Mitchell.
good about it. Well, it's mostly her fault.
Well, now it's legal, so it's what's the point? now?
The pipe was clogged.
That was what the lighter missed. After Erickson talked to me about it, I went back and found it to look on the.
Oh, to
It was
find
true,
it.
right?
And it was true. Yeah.
No smoke came out.
No,
I even inhaled and everything.
No, you missed the whole bowl. I watched the whole thing. I was not exaggerating with what I just did. That's exactly what I saw happen.
Chad showed me. You lit the end of the pipe, not
Yeah.
the bowl. Yeah.
So if you got pulled over by the police,
it's not as easy as it looks, everybody. It's not as easy as it looks.
Hey, depth perception is
Quit making fun of potheads. They're fucking skilled. They're skilled.
Officer, I had one drink, but I tried to smoke pot on 4 separate occasions and missed.
There's video of no smoke coming out of my mouth.
Oh, shit.
Missed drug opportunities.
Yeah. I would throw in an edited little clip of this happening, but I think if you don't know what this is, you should go back to previous episodes and find it.
Yeah, it's
a little Easter
kind of the
egg.
origin story. Hidden origin story in there. Your inability to smoke pot and my ability to smoke pot is folded into one nice little sandwich. I don't know.
Good try, buddy.
Yeah.
Andy's drug abilities are superior to the rest of ours.
There's no doubt about that. Yeah, there's a theme.
I don't think I said that anywhere. I'm glad I said it.
Only the live audience, and we can kill them if they're still even back there.
If they went and did their own podcast.
They're doing one behind us.
Yeah.
This is podcast.
This is
row.
how good we are at podcasting. People around us are like, oh, we should do that.
Worse than that, they say, we can do
we
better
can
than
do
that.
easy.
We can do better than that.
The girls behind us in the audience are doing a podcast called Men Are Talking.
I bet there's really a podcast called that.
You know,
well, there is now.
We were looking
started
with the stand-up podcast. We were looking for names. We were going to do. We ran into this guy in Portland after I think it was the second or third when we interviewed Goose. Remember that guy? It was like one of the first 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And we had this. We were out on the patio of one of the rooms we were in, downtown Portland, and then off of Burnside, right? And this guy just walks up and he's all wasted and does like, get over here, get over here.
Yeah.
And we started talking to him. It's like waste. He kept saying wasted. And I had a drop of it. And I'm like, this is perfect. We're gonna call it Doug Stanhope Wasted. There's like 7 podcasts called Wasted. there's anything you think is clever or funny.
You have to find like a Def Leppard style spelling of it to be like.
We came up with. I won't even exaggerate. We came up with 40 names for this podcast.
Oh my God.
Before this was even really a podcast. A lot of them were looked up and already existed, as ridiculous as they were.
Apropos of Nothing would have been the perfect name for this podcast. That was yours. That was and you were right. And then it turns out that 3 nerds have that stupid podcast that I'm positive no one listens to. But they're such nerds, they keep doing it. Yeah, that's the difference.
Of episodes.
If only if there's a podcast that exists, but they haven't done one in a year or 2, you can just take it. Fuck it. Who cares? But they're still doing it.
Apropos of Nothing, I thought it was brilliant.
Hey, we should swap cast with those guys. We go there and then they come here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I told you guys this before. Maybe I did. Fuck. I don't know. I'm drunk now. When we were in Austin after we did the live podcast, somebody else that had watched the podcast afterwards came over and talked to me about it, and they were like, "That was great." They said, "It's like you guys." Andy is the focus, but you guys are like the bumpers that come up when children bowl. And I fucking was so blown away that
the gutter bumpers,
I was like, that person knows the perfect analogy immediately after watching one episode. You know exactly what happened.
Yeah, nobody likes gutter balls.
So Chad,
another name for a podcast.
Well, I was thinking Andy and the gutter bumpers.
Andy and the gutter bumpers.
Yeah, we're in the back like doo-wopping it.
Hey,
we got the same outfit.
Gutter bumpers.
Yeah.
we're not committed till we print T-shirts. We'll just change it up on them gradually.
What, do you just change one word at a time so that you don't think they'll notice? Is that your idea?
All of a sudden it says Andy and the gutter bumpers.
No issue today. That's right. We talked about the positiveness. Or maybe that was the fish. But anyway,
it's working.
Yeah. If you want to hit that pipe, just set your thing down.
Hit it.
I'll hold my microphone over here, so you can talk.
I'd give you advice on how to do it, but I don't know.
He's pretty good at it.
Follow.
Oh, look there, you didn't miss
It's
out
not my
at all.
first wildfire. It's really everything's so dry. There's just no margin of error anymore.
I blame California for not raking after they were warned.
Yeah.
Well, I also
We had all winter to
Should have
fucking
raked.
rake.
I mean, where were you?
I blame runner joints.
What's that? What's a runner?
Stop
Jimmy?
incriminating yourself.
Yeah.
Wait, aren't you a runner, Andy?
Yeah, he's
but when
smoking
a
joints on the.
but when a joint runs, it's a bummer, and sometimes it leaves kind of fire hazards.
Oh, you mean a
Wait, a
joint
runner
that
joint?
runs on the joint?
You didn't know what he meant.
I don't know what he meant.
I thought he meant a person who's running and smoking joints.
No, I told him to shut up immediately because he was incriminating himself. Because a runner joint is one that is running down the side that's no longer smokable, but you throw it outside because it's no longer smokable, but it will burn for a long fucking time because there's still a lot of joint left.
We call them wildfire fuses.
Especially if there's wind.
Yeah, like I said, the rental car time frame,
Alibi Andy.
Yeah. I heard that other one was started by weed farmers last year up in Paradise, or the government. I don't know. Some guys are talking.
But have you been listening to Inman's podcast?
Yeah. He just transmits it with hate messages on my voicemail, and then I kind of get the gist of it. But anyway, yeah, government.
I don't listen to any podcast, but I'd listen to an Inman podcast.
Yeah,
I keep telling him to start a podcast, but he just wants to be on other people's.
Yeah.
He's chicken to start his own.
Yeah?
That's what I
Call
hear.
it Bootstraps. Is there one already called Bootstraps?
There probably is.
God.
Is there
damn it.
really?
Sorry.
Well,
But
maybe,
there can't be one called the James Inman podcast.
What about-
if there were? That would be the true, he's right. Everybody is out to fucking get him.
Oh, shit.
That would prove it. We should start it.
Create it.
We should
Create
create
it.
a
Hurry
James
up right
Inman
now.
podcast.
Get on there and create that motherfucker.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually a pretty
You
decent
guys are
idea.
a bad influence. Even now, I'm fucking
Yeah, we should do that.
Fucking James Inman.
we need to
I
put a
love you,
program
James Inman.
together
You're
to
all
get
right
like
with
three
me. You don't
nerds
rip
that
me
can
off.
just be program nerds that can be as sidekicks. Nobody would
Like
want
the
to-
lone gunman on X-Files. That's what we need.
Yeah, nobody. Yeah, like those guys. Only computer generated because James is hard to work with.
Well, that's a fact.
He starred in that movie because he just shone so much brighter.
He
than
didn't
us.
star in any movie. It wasn't even really a movie.
Yeah, it really wasn't. It
was
was
just a thing that happened.
docudrama, but he was the brightest drama queen of that bright drama. He was the easiest puppet to manipulate. So it's a win. I mean, I've never been a star of a major motion picture like that. So
There's
I
still
don't-
time, brother.
Wait,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? I don't even.
He's trying to talk about the unbookables.
Well, it's James always promotes it that it's on Amazon Prime, so I actually looked for it the other day and it's not.
It's not.
Oh,
It's-
really?
He keeps saying it.
I'm like, oh man, that's not even.
See, here's
there.
the
I
thing:
was
you
gonna-
can even get
I've
things put
seen
on.
it. I like
You can
it.
get things put on Hulu or Amazon Prime, but they don't stay there forever. So,
Yeah.
if you get something put on, it probably lasted for a month. No one watched it, so they took it off.
Yeah.
But he doesn't follow through on any of that to
It's
see
not.
if it's still up.
I signed a forever contract with Stars.
Wait, to be on Stars or to get stars at
I'll
your
be,
home?
I'll be one of those. I'll be one of those.
Are you at home watching? Are you at home watching Vikings?
Yeah.
Oh no!
I've signed up. Oh no. What's the matter, Clowny?
Just for you, Andy. Oh, you want to trade places, Clown?
Andy, why are you?
Let's trade places.
Oh, no, we don't-
Dude, it's.
I know. It's just. There he is. Hello, hello, Greg.
His turn.
Greg, probably
I'm
Greg.
surprised.
I think this calls for a shot of whiskey.
Oh fuck.
I'll
Yeah.
do a shot of whiskey.
Yeah, let's do a
Andy will
shot
give
of
this clown
whiskey.
a kiss. Give him a kiss, Andy. Come on, I've seen you kiss worse. Come on.
Oh, he went for it. At the end, he went for it.
Shot of whiskey. That's so gross. That's Shaylee. Ew, that's Shaylee.
How did you get the tongue through the mask?
Years and years of experience.
I told you I didn't. I told you why I didn't like clowns. I didn't say I.
I feel like Andy has better stories than what he's told us.
Yeah, he's not as afraid of clowns as I thought.
Who would have guessed he's holding out?
You pretty much have to top a clown or they'll do it.
I can't believe I got a fucking.
You pretty much have to top a clown or they'll do it. Listen, either you're the first guy out of the clown car or you're the last. It's up to you.
Where do they play? The big top, right? They all want to be the big top.
No.
The big top.
Yeah. We're doing whiskey because Andy tongued a clown.
Oh, that's
Shaylee.
I got over a big fear and tongued a clown. And the clown,
the
clown
irony
tongued
is
back reluctantly.
that now Shaylee has a new fear.
Yeah, shit.
You got over one fear. Now it's like you passed it on, like that Denzel Washington movie where they touch you and then you have it.
Now I'm afraid of arsonists.
You're afraid of running joints.
Oh shit! And wildfires.
I'll need a beer chaser too.
Yeah, and a cola chaser.
I'll have a beer too if someone wouldn't mind. I brought the cooler up. It's right
outside.
It's right outside.
I'll grab it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
You.
You want me to see if I have another one?
Oh shit, you guys.
Yeah. Hey,
Oh yeah.
can I say that this inaugural All Together podcast has fucking been fun?
It's pretty great.
Wait for Shaylee. Wait for Shaylee.
Where'd that
I
come?
wasn't done. I was just starting my toast. This
I got one.
this
It's
All
fun. It's
Together
fun how we're
podcast
slowly
has
taking
been
over the
fucking
podcast
good.
that already podcasts.
All
from here.
right. No clowning. No more clowning.
There's a camera right there. Everyone, look into it. Everyone, look into the camera.
Cheers.
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 Oh God.
Cheers all around. Cheers all around.
I got you, Ollie.
Uh-oh. That one went down really good.
Oh, that went nice.
Bad.
Wow. Yeah. This is what happened in Baker City, and I was like, yeah, I'll have another.
Well,
And then another, and then I don't know what happened, but I got my shit back eventually. Sometimes if you have a new phone and you let it go, it'll come back to you. Most times not.
hey, that's a story I would like to hear.
What?
First
You
of all,
did a show. You just where did you say it was?
Baker City?
Baker City, and you lost your phone.
Yeah.
Cause like I know the dude who owns that place. I think he
Yeah,
owns
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I got blackout drunk.
Yeah. And you lost your phone, but you never said how you got your phone back. Because for a while,
Luke went and looked for it, the bartender, because
Stand up, Andy.
he said,
oh, that's
Sit down.
Luke,
that chair.
the clown deflated his chair. I blame the clown.
Luke, so I thought it might be in the Airbnb, but it wasn't. I was just blackout drunk and
Were you staying at an Airbnb?
Yeah.
That's actually a
Solid
valid question.
Yeah, good
That's
question.
a solid question.
You really
Normally that
gotta
would
go
have been
back to
like
square one.
What an asshole.
What
is
is
what
that
I would normally
question?
think.
But that's
Solid.
like solid lawyering right there.
Yeah, so I was pretty
Good
drunk when I
bumpering.
woke up and everything. But so eventually got home. It's an all-day drive, and then called the Airbnb, couldn't find it. So it's like 2 days since I'd seen my beloved new phone. And then I called Luke and said, maybe I left it in your car. And he goes, well, I walked you home. And he goes, but you did fall a lot. And I go, well, that explains, I was pretty bruised up. I wondered how, I went from the bar feeling pretty good to waking up going, fuck, did somebody beat me up or whatever? So he said I fell a bunch, and then I was like, I think I probably fell right because I have more damage on the right side, so I probably chucked it right. But anyway, he recreated my steps. And then it was hanging on a fence, like Matthew
On
Shepard.
your right
like,
side? Was it on your right side?
Yeah.
Wait, a bunch of homophobes beat it to death and dragged it behind a truck?
Well, it was pink and glittery, and it was hanging on a fence for 3 days out, and then they had dry weather, and so he just. So he
Andy got his phone back thanks to Andy's Law.
So yeah.
I don't even know what that means. That's fucking ridiculous.
There should be one though.
Oh shit.
So yeah, I appreciate it.
Matthew Shepard, that's horrible.
And it was in the middle of all that ugliness with those clubs feuding over me. I won't mention where, but there was the clubs feuding over me, and which never happened ever. And then I lost my phone, so I was unable to really get involved with it. So you guys just fight it out amongst yourselves. And then they both canceled.
By the way, they were feuding about who doesn't have to do Andy's show.
It was. That's what that's what it come down to, but it was not my intention.
I figured they were feuding about who has to retrace his drunken steps to find his phone hanging from a fence.
Well, I come up with a couple new systems. One, I got my name in the back of the phone, so I can when I lose it, and then I can call myself, or somebody can call my other phone. And if I haven't lost that one, I can get a hold of them and say, where do you want to meet and get my phone back?
That's a good tip. You put it in between the case and the phone.
Yeah, so I have a backup plan.
And then when you used to have a black case on your phone, and I gave you a piece of fluorescent tape.
Yeah.
And then you got a new
tape
case.
around his neck?
No.
Is it a long one?
So that when you drop it, you can find it. If it's black and you drop it in your interior of your car and the car's black, it takes a while to fucking find it.
Right.
So you might even, like me, buy a new phone and then find it.
Yeah, that's why I have two phones, so I can call the other one.
Yeah.
Go, where are you? Where have you been?
Some people just use the Find My iPhone feature, but you've decided to get a second phone.
Well, yeah, it's all part of the
Call
T-Mobile
my
family.
iPhone feature.
Right. By the way, Shaylee, on the fucking video, you look like the most fucking super happy, like Rip Taylorist
Clown?
Oh, with my...
Yeah, look at you. It's fucking fantastic, bro.
I am.
To Rip Taylor.
To Rip Taylor.
And what about Rip Torn?
Well, he's also dead.
Yeah, Rip Torn.
But he wasn't as flamboyant as Rip Taylor.
I like how Rip Torn, though, was really drunk and then broke into a bank thinking it was his own house and then just went to sleep there.
Wait, he was trying to break into a bank?
No, he's trying to go to sleep in his own house. And
Hold on, wait a minute. Rip Torn has a huge vault in his house?
I don't know. I mean, that's the story I remember, Rip Torn.
I guess to all the Rips.
To all the Rips.
To all the Rips. And to Andy, who will probably...
And also any of the tears.
Or Torns, past tense as well. We like to hit all the tenses. We're equal opportunity on the Issues with Andy podcast.
Present.
When he was young, he was known as Rip Tear.
But
Rip Torn.
But I like that Andy likes that story because I see Andy perishing in a similar fashion. So
Yeah.
Yes. Breaking into a Chuck E. Cheese because he thinks it's his house. and then asphyxiating up in the tunnels of the fucking little kids' fucking maze.
The habit trail for kids.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I need a
They
place.
find him days later.
I need a place to sleep tonight, actually. Come to think of it.
Wait, hold on a second.
Dude, we're not. There's no place for you to sleep. We got 2 hits of LSD for you. We're just gonna take your shoes and let you wander around.
Hand you a unicorn blanket.
We're gonna call it Find the Fish. I'm gonna give you some clue. There ain't no fish.
I know. Yeah, I was just thinking.
Yeah, don't believe it. There's a fish, dude. Go for it.
Totally.
I don't even think there's an equivalent. Is there a talking rabbit or anything?
I would rather go for a spit in the pit.
Yeah.
That's
If you meet the Chad Shank that's a little skinnier than Chad, keep talking to him.
Yeah.
skinnier and taller and
Good
scarier than
listener.
me.
Good listener, man.
Well, when I was walking,
Real good listener.
when I was walking with Rooney and Mitchell, I was walking on the wall there of the what is it, the culvert?
Ditch? The ditch?
Yeah, and then I stumbled and almost fell in.
Yeah.
And like, how do you get out of that? It seems like
You wash down and they find you in Mexico.
Yeah. Well, the javelinas eat you, so they find your bones in Mexico.
If you're lucky.
Yeah, so I was glad I didn't fall into that. But tragedy's just
There's time.
right around the corner.
You'll be here for a few days.
Tragedy is right around the corner.
It's good I live near a hot springs pool, so I can soak my body once in a while. When things don't turn out the way I wanted them to, I can go soak.
That's kind of what this is.
That's where I got that LSD up at Belknap.
Soaking?
Well, that's when I was
from
up there
what's his
for a
name?
soak, and
The
Lizard,
Wizard?
Man.
Tucson Lizard comes up to get some weed, and Santa Rosa was a little less tedious. But I think, I think I ended up all right. I mean, I didn't
It's
get
fine, dude.
Yeah.
You didn't get any arrested?
I got out of that massage chair. That was sketchy. And I got these pants. So.
How do you think those guys felt that had to get you out of the massage chair?
Well, I think they were just doing a mall sweep, and I was the last person in there, and I couldn't get out of the chair either. But I
feel like we should definitely listen to their podcast, Santa Rosa Mall Cops podcast. Because that's like one of their favorite episodes.
I mean, Andy talks about like a sweep, like they're at the Louvre, and all the guards they hook arms.
Blue team, blue team,
yeah,
blue team.
Wing 3,
blue team.
Wing 3's covered, and then they hook it. Like there's two guys that go, yeah, we got another sleeper in the massage chair. Thinks he saw a fish.
I saw them in the morning operating, and they were less menacing than they seemed the night before. They were just, they tried to get between you and freedom.
They're way more Paul Blart at that point.
Yeah.
They're not getting between you and freedom. They're getting between you and the massage chair, Andy.
Well,
they want you to go free.
They're trying to go the fuck home. They want to smoke weed too, Andy.
When you're tripping...
They're fucking... mall guards,
when you're tripping in a mall that has a giant hand in front of it, you kind of count on that when you leave the mall for bearings. So these guys pushed me out by the massage chair out a different door. I had no fucking way to figure out how to get back to where the hand was.
Hug the wall.
You could have followed the front of the building. You could have followed the building around.
Hug the wall
to the point where you've made it to the hand.
I ditched my phone that I would have fast phone, giant hand out front or whatever.
Well, they'd have told you it's on the other side of the building. You could have just followed the outside wall of the building. It's an enclosed.
It's a big. Well, anyway, I had a lot of things going on in my head, and I needed to get these. I really felt like getting these pants on was urgent.
Oh, you bought pants?
I bought pants. I bought pants in the mall.
Every time he says that, I imagine him in the mall, in the massage chair with no fucking pants.
I had on pants, but I was trying to figure out how to do them in the massage chair because I was trying to tripping and thinking, man, I think if I just did this real quick, and then you were
going to do a swap like a IndyCar change out on tires with your pants.
Yeah.
Where was your crew?
Well, that was
a fish in a hand.
He needs a pants crew.
And that was the thing, though. The massage chair clamped
fish
my
has no thumbs. Can't button the pants.
Yeah.
The massage chair clamped my leg, so I couldn't even pursue it.
Wait, clamped your legs?
Yeah, it held my feet in place.
The massage chairs do clamp your legs.
No, yeah. The one at
and then it just started.
Oh, you shouldn't do that while tripping, bro.
Well, that's where it went wrong.
Idea.
I mean, it was.
That's where it went wrong.
If I would have left the mall where the hand was, I would have think I could have found. I don't know where I would have.
Paradise,
like the end of Greece. I would have just driven up.
You in a convertible with Olivia Newton-John floating up to heaven,
or John Travolta? We don't know.
Either way, but instead you were shoved out a back
door, and instead I was in a fucking Outback with a bunch of my
shit. Did you see their bloomin' onion?
Yeah. No, but he did see the grease lightning.
Andy.
So it was the cops could have been better on my trip by expediting. Like, which door did you come in, sir? Do you remember anything? And I'd have said, yeah, big giant hand. They could have walked me down there. Yeah. And instead it was like, I don't know what the chair seemed to be malfunctioning too.
I'll bet,
because I swiped my card once, but it was like 40 minutes. It felt like going on this thing, and I wasn't going to stop it because I don't. It was like all
was
right.
it your credit card or
it's the only place I was going to be able to lay down for the evening? So
Andy, did you get a charge that was like?
I don't know, man. At that point, everything was in a heap. And
that was a credit card from one of the cars that looked like his car.
It was 5 minutes.
If I did have a
5 minutes.
If I did have a receipt, it's where the receipt for these pants, where those parking tickets, where everything else went that night. The fish said not to worry about papers. They held me back.
The fish was right.
The fish
was right.
Listen to the fish.
Well, I had shit in my pocket, and it just seemed that he sensed that it was uncomfortable. I don't know. I don't think it was real, but it was fucking comforting to have him there for the evening, since I didn't have a fucking 6 motel or a bed or nothing.
Hey, did the fish have a name?
I never really got.
I did see. You did post a
with
picture of the fish. I saw it.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it's a big Santa
salmon?
Rosa a Santa Rosa sculpture of a fish.
Oh my God, there was a real fish?
Yes, it's a sculpture of a fish.
I thought it was a figment of his
No,
imagination.
this is a thing that
There's a
existed in the park.
So there's a sculpture of a fish in
He
Santa Rosa?
consulted it throughout the night, and it told him exactly how to handle
Oh,
his
I get
evening.
it.
It does look magical. It's
It's pretty great.
It's pretty magical.
I will give Santa Rosa credit.
Yeah.
Well
Yeah.
done.
No.
Because I was giving Andy credit for being
No,
creative.
no,
if
the
I
fish
was-
did this. The
If
fish
I
did
was
this.
on acid, I would talk to
Oh,
that fish.
absolutely.
I think the fish was just was tired of hearing about the Subaru and told me to move on, not to get hung up on shit. Because if I wanted to, continue forward, I had to just let it go and move.
Yeah.
So
You
That's a good
bored the
philosophy.
fish to death.
and then he told me to go set fire to wine country. Like, all right, I don't agree.
Wait.
Allegedly.
Ixnay on the higher fay.
I don't agree
You
with
did not
everything,
do
Mr.
that.
Fish.
No
but-
runner joints, no nothing. The fire was already started when he was there. Statute of limitations.
So a guy named Fish lit a runner joint, and you had no idea what was going on.
It was burning when you got
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, it was burning, man.
I didn't even hit that
Andy went
joint.
to Burning Man.
Unofficial burning man.
Oh shit, it's all burning, man.
Yeah, that comma's a bitch.
They were
That was for you, Tracy.
they were trying to
Learn
figure out
grammar.
the best pairing with weed and wine. It's run.
At least that fire's in my rear view mirror.
Yeah. Well, I stopped at a winery to get a glass of wine. I didn't start the fire, let's be honest. But I just with a glass of wine. I was just hitting the road, and they go, "We can't sell anywhere. We're shutting it down because of the fires."
You showed up
So-
right at the end of
So
the
how
wine
would-
tour?
No, I stopped at a winery and to have a glass of wine, and they were shutting it down because of the power outages and the fires.
Yeah.
Which I hadn't heard about the fires. That was the first I heard of it. But
Well, why would you
They were
need to know?
burning all
You-
around him.
You already knew. You're
Denial is a
patient
hell of a
one.
thing.
Andy, you're patient one.
I don't see any fire. I don't know what you're talking about. Fire?
Oh yeah, I saw it.
high winds, and they were shutting the power off for that. I didn't know there was actual fires going on. But
So
it started,
wine country, and they're
Yeah.
closing.
I just want wine. I don't know what you're talking about, runner joint.
Oh yeah, but
How many fucking fires do I got to start to get a drink around here?
but yeah, but I mean, yeah, but there's a bottle of wine, and then you can't pour a glass of wine because there's power outage. I don't know. That's not how I would operate my fire outage.
Well, they did.
I'd
the
pour the wine.
California Electric Company, PG&E, shutting off their power now. This is their new tactic.
Because of last year.
Because of last year. Because they started the fire last year that killed hundreds of people. Because it was their fault. So they're just shutting. Because any sort of wire down, any sort of problem.
It was a down power line that
A down
caused-
power line started the entire
California
fire
on
the
fire
year before.
last year was
killed
the-
hundreds of people, burned hundreds of thousands of acres. Everything. It was all
Wasn't
the
it Paradise that burned?
Paradise, California.
And to be fair, hundreds of people is not a very dramatic
So-
thing to say.
Well,
There's been thousands.
unless
of
you're
people.
one of the
That
hundreds.
Yeah.
tsunami was good.
Well,
Yeah,
It
listen.
might even be more. I don't know, but whatever it was. But the point is that the electric companies.
How many Jonestowns
Their
was
fix
it?
is
How many jokes?
their fix is we'll just shut power off when it's
Yeah.
windy. Does that seem like a really long-term solution to you? Like we'll just shut power off. You'll
It
just
doesn't
go
even seem
without
like
power.
a short-term
Well,
solution.
It seems like it'll get people out of their house and raking, which is what I know.
Which is exactly
could be
what the problem is, yeah.
So
Fire suppression is always. I grew up in California. There's Santa Anas every year. There's dry weather every year. It's a fucking desert. It wouldn't have any. There would be nothing green unless the water was coming from California, upper Northern California, or Colorado, or
Right.
somewhere else. That's the whole fucking thing, right? But fire suppression is part of it, and they don't ever address that. They just turn
Well,
the power off
right.
to all of their customers.
And also part of it is just the naturalness of that. Like they put out fires. Like it would be that a fire would burn through all of the kindling,
Yeah.
right? So that once they had the fire, then the next few years there wouldn't be any more shit to burn because it would all have burned.
Yeah.
That's how it used to go.
Yeah.
But now we have houses, so we have to stop the fires. So there's still more kindling for next year. So it just keeps happening here. So I guess the point is just burn all of the.
Kill rich people. Is that what you're saying?
Well,
That kind of is. Vote Bernie.
sounds
Bernie
good to me.
Sanders, 2020. Vote Bernie.
but sometimes you're just riding up the
Get it,
road,
Bernie.
riding up the road, and you're yeah.
I'm not for that Sanders guy, but I like this
His name's
Andrus.
not Bernie.
Bernie,
Not
Bernie.
really.
Bernie.
His name's Steve, but he knew. He knew.
California's got a lot of electoral votes, so
It's got all of them, doesn't it?
it's got a lot.
And it's very dry.
So we've been doing this a while, and I could tell everyone's been drinking. Andy,
We're at the perfect
Hold on.
podcast time.
I have one more
1 hour
question.
and 16 seconds. We did it.
hold on, Andy.
Wait,
what's
what?
next for you? I mean, you got the haunted house gig in a couple days.
Wait, I'm hired?
No, not
Wait,
this
you're
one.
not gonna-
The one you went to last year.
You're not going to Tony Clifton?
The Tony Clifton haunted house. Which one do you? How's that one going?
I hear they got Jerry Lewis this year. Is it you against
You
him?
know, I'm still, I'm Craigslisting it.
Gigs. Andy, you filmed a
Character.
special here at the Funhouse. Mm-hmm. You burned up a car because you couldn't afford a $30 oil change.
No,
got the oil
I only
change.
got
They
the oil
fucked him.
change.
All right, come on. But what's next? What's on the horizon for Andy Andrus?
I'm going to go see my cats. I got some gigs in Florida. But cats back home after that little run, and then, I don't know. I'm going to reinvent myself with a new wig or something. I could put my mom's wig on and start doing that.
He
We're
said
gonna have-
beyond tomorrow.
Wait,
Well,
that's
we're-
psycho, dude. That script has already been written.
But we're going to do an Airbnb, so it'd be different. It'd be an update. I'd have the wig, the closet.
Wait, so instead of killing them, you just make them breakfast and fucking are genuinely annoyed.
No,
Make
no.
sure
by
they're
that?
out by 11.
No, we can't cook in the kitchen, so I'd have to bring a scone in.
Would you like eggs?
No, I just go, I have day-old scones, and I'm going to plunk you in the head with my shovel.
All right, I certainly don't want to try and find a way to end this, but everyone knows
fine.
Andy is deathly afraid of clowns.
Yeah, I don't care for
I
them.
think this episode would be awesome if Andy put the clown mask on to close the show.
I could put it on. But
Put
then
it down your pants.
wait, okay, hurry, because I got...
You gonna come?
Hey!
Oh man,
Oh!
that actually is.
I'm out.
That actually is pretty appropriate, dude. All right, you guys. Follow Chad Shank on Twitch. We'll see you next time. Live from the Stupid Fun House.
DougStanhope.com for tour dates. We've got
Never heard of him.
2020 dates coming up. We also got Hawaii and New Year's Eve.
Issues
in
with Andy. Don't listen to this guy.
Vegas.
Issues with Andy. Subscribe, rate, all of that. Love you. Bye.